The Audi Q7 is a family mid-size luxury SUV that catches the eye with its gorgeous interior, good performance, and silky smooth ride. However, if you're after a new one in 2024, you should also find out what might be lurking beneath that plush surface. Here are the 7 main problems with the Audi Q7, based on reports and stories from owners of the current generation. Number 1. Overcomplicated and unreliable infotainment system. Audi's interior is dominated by 2 big screens, which, in all fairness, look awesome. But when you actually start using them, you'll find they hide an overly complicated interface with complex menus and settings that can become quite a challenge to handle, especially while driving. Spoiler alert, they freeze up all the time. The MMI system, which stands for Multimedia Interface, is supposed to run everything from your favorite tunes and car settings to your GPS and navigation needs. They even have their own MMI satellite view navigation system, providing rich dynamic displays with street speed limits and all. However, you've got to pay $85 every month for it. That's steep. And did we mention monthly? The system is not without faults. You can't punch in a new destination while driving, sometimes it forgets your saved locations, and it's such a struggle to hook up your phone. Current 2021 to 2023 Q7 owners also complain about the MMI taking ages to initialize when you hop in the car. Every time you get in, you have to wait between 2 and 5 minutes for the screens to load up all the data, if it loads up, because we've seen numerous reports from users who complain about the screens getting stuck in the initializing phase. And then there's the phone connectivity drama, which we dare say it's a common issue on most Audis. If you lose your phone signal, chances are the MMI interface disconnected it. But when you really don't want to connect any phone, the car keeps asking you to do so. A nagging message pops up on the main screen asking you to connect your phone. Playing games, Audi? The current Q7 generation is notorious for its flaky infotainment system and electronics in general. There are times when the screens won't even turn on, and updates, they often mess things up even more. There are stories from owners who had to drive without any radio, entertainment, or any sort of car controls for days. It was like being thrown back to the old days when a car was just a steering wheel and a couple of pedals. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want that. Number 2. Audi Presense malfunctioning. The Audi Presense is generally a good safety technology that uses cameras and radar sensors to keep an eye on cars, people, and other objects around you. As you may well know, if it senses trouble, like a potential crash, it jumps into action to help you avoid it. It can give you visual and sound warnings, tighten up the seatbelts, close the windows, and even hit the brakes or steer away from a potential collision. However, the system is also well known for malfunctioning pretty often. It can go off suddenly, even deploying the airbags when you're just smoothly driving at 35 miles an hour. That would make your heart jump out of your chest. Audi Q7 owners would also get error messages saying that the Presense system is malfunctioning. The 2 main reasons are faults in the radar sensors or a faulty control unit. First of all, the Presense system needs its cameras and radar sensors in good shape. If there's a technical problem with any of these, or if they get too dirty or muddy, Presense won't function properly. Another reason why it might mess things up is because of a faulty control unit. This unit is like the brain of the system, analyzing data from the cameras and sensors to predict crashes. If it thinks a crash is going to happen, it'll activate all the necessary safety features to prevent it or reduce the damage. Number 3. Overly aggressive lane keeping assist. The Audi Q7 has an overall NHTSA safety rating of 5 stars, and most of its safety features do a great job, though there are a few exceptions. We've already talked about issues with the Presense system as a whole, but now we'll focus on the lane keeping assist that can sometimes be unpredictable, as if it had a mind of its own. It kicks in too often and too aggressively. Owners complain that when they're trying to get around pedestrians, cyclists, or parked cars, the lane keeping assist fights their efforts, pushing the car back into the lane in a way that can be quite dangerous. What's more, turning off this feature seems like a real nuisance. People who are fed up with its unreliability have tried to switch it off for good, but it has a habit of turning itself back on at random times. Number 4. Interior storage space is below average. The cargo capacity of the Q7 is 14.2 cubic feet behind the 3rd row, and a maximum of 69.6 with both rows folded. That's average for its class. By comparison, the XC90 with 3 rows provides 15.8 cubes with all seats in place and a maximum of 85.7 with all seats folded. However, the cabin storage is below average. The center console is somewhat useless. Under the armrest, you'll find a wireless charging pad for your phone and a tiny trail that can probably hold a pen, a piece of paper, and some change. That's a bit underwhelming for such a big car. The door pockets are also pretty narrow. The cup holders can't hold any big or oddly shaped drink containers, just your usual Starbucks cups. Their positioning is also a recipe for disaster. Imagine spilling coffee on that big touchscreen. In the back, the cup holders get even tinier. Overall, the interior of the Q7 is a very nice place to be, but the devil is in the details, you know? Number 5. Poor reliability overall. It's true, the Audi Q7 looks good on the outside and it's truly gorgeous on the inside. However, reliability issues plague it from top to bottom. When you first get in, it's stunning. All those glossy panels and big screens, it's like a museum piece. Great to look at, but touch it and you'll spoil it. What do we mean by that? Well, fingerprints will easily take over and smudge everything, from the beautiful control screen to the navigation second screen, and even the central console aluminum trims. Moreover, if you're fond of wearing wristwatches, the center console will scratch up in no time. It's just so delicate. The gorgeous perforated and contoured seats make it really challenging to remove crumbs or any kid-related junk from them. The backup camera becomes useless in the rain. It's something about its design that makes moisture accumulate, blurring your view considerably during the rain season. Moreover, there have been complaints about an annoying rattle coming from the second row seats when going over bigger bumps. That's a bit too much, don't you think? Number 6. Using the third row can be tricky. We're not going to ignore the obvious. The Q7 is a very comfortable and plush SUV, but if you're hoping it's also a decent third row seater with plenty of space, you might have to look elsewhere. Yes, the soundproofing is top-notch. You barely hear any wind or road noise from inside the cabin. The 4-zone climate control is amazing for the first 2 rows. However, the third row passengers don't receive the same treatment because there are no air vents in the back. The first and second rows are spacious, but the third row is a bit cramped. For kids, it's fine. However, getting inside that third row can be a bit difficult because of how the seats are designed. Number 7. The 4-cylinder engine is too underpowered. In our humble opinion, an Audi Q7 should not come equipped with a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine. It's just unnatural. Although it is paired with a 12-volt hybrid system that makes 261 horsepower, the turbocharged 4-cylinder seems underpowered for the mammoth that the Q7 is. So if you're really eyeing the 2024 Audi Q7, choose the 3-liter V6 that also uses a hybrid system, but it makes 335 horsepower and has an impressive 5-second time to 60 miles an hour. And on top of that, the fuel economy figures are pretty similar. The EPA fuel efficiency ratings for the V6 are 17 miles per gallon in the city, while the 4-cylinder has 19 miles per gallon in the city. Testing shows that they both average 21 miles per gallon combined.